Alright, what's up YouTube? Silas here once again, and today we're going to continue our explanation of the chakra system, and we're on the third chakra now, the navel chakra. Previously we discussed the root chakra and then the pleasure chakra, and today we're on the navel. And like always, my whole purpose here is to break this information down in a way that's easy to understand. So if we were just having a random conversation and this popped up, or I passed you on the street and you asked me what this was, I'm trying to give you my layman's terms, layman's definition of what this is. So it's easy to understand, it's very shareable. You can share this with people even if they don't understand the deep stuff. We're not trying to get super deep, we're trying to make it simple, more accessible, easy to understand. Make sure you check out the playlist that has the other videos in it. I'll make sure to put a card up on the screen. But here we go. What the navel chakra is all about. Navel chakra is all about self-worth, self-validation, self-esteem, self-control, self-discipline. You and how you deal with you. So let's say you got a blocked navel chakra. Well, right off the bat, some things I'm going to know about you without even needing to see you in action is if you have a blocked navel chakra, you have self-confidence issues. You don't fully believe in yourself. You doubt yourself often. You do something that you think is right and then people say is wrong, and you're immediately going to go into this whole doubt mode. You're going to attack yourself, start questioning yourself. Well, should I have really done that? Is this the right thing to do? What should I do? Maybe I should do something different. And it'll bug you the whole time because you'll be saying, but I know this is right for me. This is what I should be doing. But because you got disapproval from your peers, you're now going to question yourself very heavily. You are prone to these emotional outbursts because you're going to have a lot of emotional baggage. You don't have a lot of trauma based around your emotions. So let's say normally you're a very calm and in control person. You have good control over your emotions, but there are some things you just can't tolerate. And when those things happen, you flip. You spark off, you explode. That tells me you don't have a strong control over your emotions. That's a navel chakra weakness there. That means you're not in control of the self. You're being governed by other people. Your goals, you'll set goals, or you'll have goals set, and you'll find it really difficult to achieve them. You feel like you just can't get there, and oftentimes you'll just give up or quit. And it's always temporary because it's your real self is telling you need to do these things, motivating you to do these things, but you always feel like you're getting shut down, and that'll cause you to once again doubt what you're doing and not have the motivation to keep going at it anyway. You'll be questioning yourself, which will be holding you back. You'll depend on others, but not for physical things, but for everything else. So basically, your feelings will be based on who you're around, and you won't like to be alone because then it's only you and your emotions that you don't have control of, and they take you on a ride that you don't want to be on. So those people will try to surround themselves with company that helps to distract them from what's going on inside of themselves. You'll find that these people are control freaks. They like control. They'll be overactive in their need to be in control of things because deep down they realize they're not in control of themselves, so they try to control everything else outside of them. I need to make sure this happens this way. because I know if it doesn't, XYZ will happen.
Nothing. Find another one.
This ties hand in hand with the emotional outburst
This one's
and the need to be around others,
Let's find
where
the
it's
right
like it
one.
creates this perfect storm because you need to be surrounded by people. Most likely you're gonna have people around you that don't think exactly like you, and they're gonna do a lot of things that don't fit with yourself, and that's gonna make you pop off a lot. What about, all right, so we've talked about when it's blocked, that's what happens. What about when it's open? Let's say it's open and active. Well, these people you'll find kind of similarly to having it blocked, they'll still be control freaks, just not as bad, but they'll have this need to control things because they're so confident in themselves and their abilities that they feel like if they handle it, it'll be done well, and if someone else handles it, they may mess up, which may be true, but they'll take it too far to the point where they feel like they need to do everything, and you can't do everything for somebody else. You'll find these people trying to lead people, not teach, which is different. Trying to lead them. Do this at this time, do that at that time, do this way, do this exactly the way I showed you. Don't deviate from the steps I gave you. They will often relentlessly chase their goals but make no progress. So they have the motivation that just refuses to go away. So no matter what, they'll feel like they need to do a certain thing, but they'll have a distorted sense of how to get there, and this will cause them never to truly reach the goal, but they're always stuck chasing it. So you'll find these people like 5 years later, they still trying to do the same thing and seem to have made zero progress. Then their navel chakras open, they have their own way and they're relentlessly going forward, but they don't really know how to get there, which is a pretty sad place to be in because you see how hard they're trying but still see that there's really nothing getting done. And you're like, why don't you just try something else? But their soul won't let them, because that's what they know that's what they're supposed to do.
This is it.
These people are just as prone to emotional outbursts just because it's open and they have control, but not complete control. So those moments where they don't have control is very obvious. Okay, this person then lost their mind real quick. Like normally they're calm, cool, and collected, but sometimes they'll just lose control. They know themselves, but don't know themselves completely. So the few things they do, they won't be able to see that what they're doing is holding them back or what they're doing is causing them more grief. They'll still just keep plowing forward despite the fact that there's some things in them they need to address. They can't see it, so they just keep going. This is what causes them to not be able to fulfill their goals while they still have the need to chase them. And you're overactive, then instead of teaching people, instead of just teaching people, telling them what and letting them take it from there, they will tell them, but then try to basically manage them in doing it. Every time they catch them off track, they'll try to put them back on. Like, instead of letting the person walk for themselves and like, this is the way you need to go, this is the pace you need to go at, you need to step left right in this tempo, do it this way. I seen it, it works, and they may be right, yeah, that works, but that's not the way to teach somebody that. You're only going to cause them to push against you harder, subconsciously or consciously, but they'll be unable to see this because their eyes are so focused on their goal and where they're trying to get to. They'll have a strong sense of self, but they can't back it up. So they'll know they're right, but they won't know how or why. So when it comes time to share or show other people, they won't be able to properly communicate it because, well, they don't know themselves. All they know is that they do it and it works and it's right. But let's say it's harmonious. If it's harmonious, then you're gonna have basically kind of right in the middle of those two, where you're completely confident in yourself, but not so confident you can't take criticism. You set goals and you follow them, but not so blindly that you can't see where you're messing up. You'll teach people and allow them to make their own mistakes because you know that you did the exact same thing when learning those lessons. You'll have a self-control because you'll see where your control is lacking and you'll double down on it. It's not that these people never have issues with control, it's that they'll notice when they're having these issues and what they should do about it for themselves. Having a harmonious navel chakra will push you to do what's in your heart to do, but not so much that you forget about everything else. These people they have anger, they have emotional outbursts, but when they do, either before it really gets out of them or directly afterwards, they'll notice, oh man, I kind of snapped on her then, I shouldn't have did that, or he said that and I didn't like that, well I should, there's a better way I could have said that, there's a better way I could have did this, maybe I should try this differently. They won't doubt what it is they were trying to do because they know themselves, but they'll realize maybe I don't have the perfect way to do it and I should keep digging at it. I should keep trying. The navel chakra is important because you need to use this as yourself is basically lost without it. The people who lose complete control of their navel chakra, you watch them, they're fair weather. If somebody says something, they always agree. Even if right before that they said the opposite, just because they heard them say it now and they want that person to like them or they want that person to think that they're like them, they'll suddenly change their stance to say what that person said. And you'll be looking at them like, didn't you just say? And they won't even notice. You might call them out on it and they'll be like, what are you talking about? And then they're quick to shrug it off like, oh, I was just talking or whatever. It doesn't mean as much to them because they don't have as big a sense of self. They kind of view themselves as a fusion of other people instead of having their own independent identity that interacts with other people. You feel me? This one's a lot harder to quantify because these things mix real bad. So like self-esteem can mess up your perception of self-worth, which can mess up your ability to pursue goals. So you might have some strong goals that are directly suited to yourself, but then your lack of confidence may make it hard for you to pursue those goals because you don't believe in yourself, and those goals are based out of you. So if you don't believe in yourself, then you start doubting your goals, like maybe I shouldn't be trying to do this, maybe I should go for something else. When it boils down to it, this chakra really could be called the self chakra because it's all about you and how you feel about you, how you interact with yourself. If you're able to catch yourself when you're doing things or promote yourself when you know you're doing the right thing without the need for others to give you a pat on the back and say good job. You know when you did a good job. You don't need somebody to tell you that was the right thing. Versus somebody who will do a good job and feel like it didn't mean anything until someone finally acknowledges it. Somebody else needs to let you know, oh, that's a noble thing you did. That was a good thing. You'll find yourself content with where you are in life if you're harmonious, because you'll realize how you got there. And even if that's not where you want to be in life, you'll be able to honestly sit down and evaluate, how do I get where I want to be, without necessarily being frustrated and criticizing yourself for not being perfect already. You'll have more patience with yourself and with others, because you'll understand where each person is coming from. The lack of the emotional outbursts that come from having a blocked or disharmonious navel chakra is just a result of you not understanding others, because you don't understand yourself. When someone with a harmonious navel chakra has patience with someone, it's because they see how hard it was for themselves to get where they are, so they understand just me telling somebody is not going to get them all the way there. All that's going to do is start them down the path. You have to be very careful with the navel chakra, because if you get too confident in yourself, you are now blind to the pitfalls. But if you're so worried about never being right, then you lack the self-confidence to do what you really need to do, because you'll always be questioning yourself. You'll never fully believe in yourself, which will make it very difficult for you to make your way, because now you don't even know what your way is. So when identifying where you are on this scale, from blocked to open to harmonious, excuse me, and even if you're harmonious in several ways, and then you notice you had this one pitfall, and don't you go labeling yourself harmonious. You still got something you need to work on. So maybe you're open, but you're not all the way open. Having the patience with yourself is where this really starts, so that you can take the time and look at yourself and see, where am I? Like, where do I fit on this scale? And based on where I fit on this scale, what should I do now? Like, how do I fix this? Or how do I improve this? Or how do I improve my interactions with others? Or how do I improve this relationship I have? It comes back to you knowing how to deal with you, so that you can deal with others. To meet your goals, you need to know what's causing you to fall short, without letting those criticisms knock you down so far that you feel unmotivated to do anything. I think I'm gonna stop it there, because I think I've covered it pretty thoroughly. I couldn't explain it any other way than that. To summarize, is the self. You and yourself. How you feel about yourself. How much you're able to give yourself direction, criticism, advice. Can you control your own emotions? Can you be alone by yourself and not go crazy? Can you judge yourself off of your own values instead of the people's around you? That's the navel chakra in a nutshell. That's why it's right in the center of you. Your navel chakra is located at the navel, right at your belly button. It's you. Well, I won't say at the center of you, because the heart is in the center of you. Right in the center of your lower chakras, your lower self. Right in the middle of your stomach, between your root and your heart. That's you right in the middle.